To begin using the GhostKit Side-Chaining Template, you drag a drum rack over the track called Kit to Hook Up. In this video, we're hooking up what I call a mixed Type 1 drum rack. It's named the Fat Kit, and it's functionally a Type 1 drum rack because its effects section is in a return chain. But it also has a number of other return chains that are fed by sends. When we first look at this drum rack, we can see that it has some effects in its outer shell, which would make it seem like this would be a Type 2 drum rack. But let's look inside this rack by showing its chains, inputs, outputs, sends, and returns. The first thing we notice is there are a lot of return chains, 6 to be exact. When we look at the audio 2 column, we can see that each drum is being routed directly to return chain D, where there is a vintage drum EQ effects rack. That makes this a Type 1 drum rack, and the shuttle will eventually need to be dropped before the effects on return chain D. The rest of the return chains have effects on them that are fed by the levels in their respective send columns, here like send A, send B, etc. We're going to want to hear those effects and their volume assignments, so we'll need to choose Host Mixer as our filter on the Mega Mixer before capturing the drums. Notice that all 6 of our return chains are listed in the drum pool. If you remember, the return chain D has all of the drums routed through it directly in the audio 2 column. That makes it very important to remove it from the drum pool. Go ahead and select it and click Remove Chains. The rest of these return chains are being fed by sends, and we want to hear the effects on them, so they can all stay in the drum pool. Next, select the drums that you'd like to sidechain. We'll set this kick as SC1 and this snare as SC2. Then we can click Send Drum Routes. After that, the shuttle may be dragged and dropped before or to the left of the vintage drum EQ rack on return chain D. When we test the drums, you can hear the sidechain signal flowing through the original effects, and you can change those effects settings by choosing different presets in the macro section. Also, after turning up the release value and playing a splashy cymbal along with our sidechained kick and snare, you can hear that our drums are sidechained. So this kit is now fully hooked up and ready to go. Now the kick and snare that you chose to be sidechained will cut through any sounds that you put inside the white track group, in addition to the rest of the drums in the kit. If you're interested in using this template for yourself, you can follow the link to my Gumroad page in the description below. You'll also find additional links to walk you through using this template with the other types of drum racks you may find in Ableton Live.